If you read the following and you think there's nothing wrong with it, then you are either too indoctrinated by the far left that want to start a tyrant ruling on everyone, or you clearly don't understand how liberties work and how they can be very easily terminated by actions such as this one. This is a YouTube tweet that says, quote, in response to creator feedback around well-being and targeted dislike campaigns, we're testing a few new designs that don't show the public dislike count. If you're part of this small experiment, you might spot one of these designs in the coming weeks. End quote. And let's focus a little bit on certain parts of what is depicted here. And at the beginning it says there, in response to creator feedback, which creators actually think that this is necessary? What sort of feedback is this? Was this something of a survey that was carried out by YouTube in any way, shape, or form? Because if it was the case, let me tell you that I did receive nothing, okay? That I didn't get any surveys of any form, and I didn't really know that there was any concern on this matter, because I was not informed. So who is this creator? Who are these creators that are complaining and that have given this feedback? The next part says, around well-being and targeted dislike campaigns. What does that sound like to you? Might that be because of the Disney Star Wars getting downvoted in every single video that they turn out? Because people are not happy with the firing of Gina Carano from The Mandalorian? Does this have to do with that infamous fading Oscars video by Kathleen Kennedy that also got downvoted because of the very same reason? It was, I think, released a couple of days after Gina Carano had been fired. So is that the targeted dislike campaign that you are talking about? Let's just remember that these people started it by, first of all, not acknowledging that they have done something wrong, like companies that they think that they are over powerful and that they are supreme and reigning all over everyone else. They do not admit defeat or failure. Also because that would mean that investors would not be happy with their money in the company. And like the little imbeciles that they are, they pretend that everything is running smooth and that things are going better than ever. So they never admit defeat, and they never admit that they are wrong, which is what many people think actually took place when they hired Rian Johnson to film The Last Jedi. Not everyone was pleased with that, and it was a very divisive, very tearing apart the fandom. Then we go on from that to a campaign of targeted harassment, but not to the company, more like company employees and people associated with the company going after fans because they didn't like The Last Jedi and calling them every name under the sun, from man babies to basement dwellers, mocking them using the stereotypical vision that the majority of the people has about what a nerd or a geek really is like. And also labeling them and categorizing them into either an ist or a foe, and all of them into the alt-right faction that they think is actually permeating the fandom and the whole spectrum of what a fandom is. So if you do not like this thing, you are leaning to that alt-right thing, even if you are not within the United States, because these people cannot fathom the idea that there are other individuals out there in the world, there are other countries out there in the world that they are not necessarily left or right, that have many other different political parties, not only just two, and they don't understand that also these people, disliked The Last Jedi. They think that if you do not like it, you are a white supremacist, and they can't understand that not everyone around the world is white. Thus, cannot be possible that everyone is a white supremacist just because of that. And of course, this targeted harassment continued going on after this article from Rewriting Replay that was released last month, and that is holding false information. Now, they did say that they were doxxed and that their information was used against their will, and they did not consent to that. However, they forget that their names were all over the place. They didn't really hide their identities, and, well, we have these little hints from the investigative endeavors of certain people that individuals within Rewriting Ripley are also connected one way or another to Lucasfilm, or they know Lucasfilm employees that have also kept on the targeted harassment against the fans because they didn't like their shite movie and they don't like their crap, the High Republic initiative that nobody gives a damn about unless they create this faked, fabricated hysteria for this by saying that there is this fucking rock as the main character, and also that these other two characters are non-binary bastards or whatever. All of that, and you are calling this targeted dislike campaigns because nobody likes fucking Star Wars? Get it to your fucking heads, you fucking idiots! If we don't like Star Wars, it's just because you made it your job to not like it, you motherfuckers! You have done that yourselves. This is not something that we have decided to do all together. Now let's go and hate on something that we have loved for I don't know how many fucking years. You are just completely stupid motherfuckers, and if you think that this is not connected in one way to Disney or to Star Wars or to now the now called toxic fandom that is holding the Justice League Snyder Cut as the greatest thing ever and that they want to restore all of the Snyderverse and they are now going after them, well, fuck you then. This is all connected, of course, and all these people think that we do not see, that we do not care, that we are idiots that can be fooled with just these pretty words, targeted harassment campaign. Fuck you! Who's going to get you harassed? This fucking channel gets dislikes every single day. There are comments that I dislike. I prefer to ignore them, because I don't really care about what people have to say if they do not do it in a constructive way, or even if they don't do it in a rational way. You can disagree with me. But if you prove and you give points and have an argument, I can stand by that. I can even respect you. But coming out of nowhere and trying to sell this like this is the targeted campaign against the channel, or you're going to be crying, oh no, my poor channel, it's getting targeted harassed, it's getting destroyed with all these dislikes. Well, why don't you start for a change? And to begin with, by admitting that you're fucking wrong. And second of all, why don't you try to do better by the fans, who are in the end the only ones that pay for your fucking merchandise and your fucking idiotic movies of shite. Because that's all they are. They are not quality movies. You are not going to go and see in The Last Jedi a wonderful story. Sure, you might find great music and special effects of, the top notch inside the industry. But you're not going to find anything else. And things like Sonic the Hedgehog a year ago, things like the Snyderverse this year, they are proving that when companies listen to the fans and provide products that audiences do want to consume, they do better. They get results. This testing a new design to hide the dislike count. This is complete bullshit. And the whole point of this thing, of course, in my opinion, to create more ways to control people in general. This is censoring in some ways because you are now not allowing people to like or dislike something. Sure, they can dislike it, but that is going to be hidden. Nobody's going to see that. I believe that one of the strengths that this platform has is that you know in real time who likes and dislikes your stuff. There is real interaction, and that also can inform how you approach your content. It is why I have been experimenting almost since the very beginning of the channel. And I believe that many others do it until they find their voice, the way to do it, and they stick to that because that's what people like. In the same fashion, then, I suggest that if you see lots of dislikes, you try to do better. Maybe approach things with a different perspective. Something has to be done. And of course, that is going to give you benefits and it's going to give you results that you want to see. But by doing this, you are just, it's idiotic. The thing here is that they want to keep the likes without having to hide them with the dislikes, and that's what is happening. For example, with the Star Wars videos, many of their videos have had to have that part disabled because there were too many dislikes, and then they didn't like that, so they decided, well, we're going to get rid of that bit. And they also turn off comments all the time. But if you just eliminate the dislikes, you are sending the same fucking message. Nobody likes this thing, so then I have to hide the response because I am afraid of what might bring up later on. Just let people be. Let people enjoy whatever they want to enjoy and dislike whatever they want to fucking dislike, and you will be surprised at the reaction and the positive response that this has. It's stupid to think that a couple of dislikes are going to define your actions and your content. You have to work better. You have to try harder. But of course, everything has to look nice and shiny because it's Marshmallow Land with these companies. Now, I am not saying that it is Disney behind this thing or that Warner Media is behind this thing, but you can smell from miles away that it's within these companies' best interest that these things take place, and that is why these changes are happening. Not for the common people, for the average guy, but for these companies. Once more, YouTube is catering to the big companies and leaving the little men, the little women, the little people behind. Those that are long-time creators, creators with great content, creators with lots of fans, creators with lots of subscribers and good interactions and great engagement from other people. Those are the ones that are being left behind. Those are the ones that are being ignored. And if this were done in the well-being of creators, then YouTube would revise their terms of service and also would revise how they monetize channels and content, and also would revise other aspects that are ambiguous in their overall services. But once again, as I told you, this is not in the people's best interest, but on companies. It is up to us to raise our voices and say how we think and we feel about this sort of thing. We cannot be silent. We cannot be ignored. We have to voice our opinions. We have to speak up. And it is just up to you that these companies win or that people like you and me win in this never-ending battle.